Okay, so we got to master rank on the day of the maintenance using Dragon Link, testing to see if one Saronir makes a difference. It really didn't make that much of a difference, honestly, because you know the way you play Dragon Link is you mostly go for regain, and freeze is more like a utility card you use for going second. So because you're not trying to go for both beast and regain a lot of the time, then you don't really need to access Saronir. Most of the time you're searching the Magnemute anyways, and even if you had the option to get both beast and regain, you might consider getting regain first to play around the Biru better, and then also to get the extra draw and recycle your resources, stuff like that. So that's a bit on Saronir. It's, if you saw my branded synchro, or quote unquote synchro, quote unquote branded Bystial Dragon Link branded list, deck list, that's a deck that actually really hinges on Saronir far more than a Dragon Link does, which is you know, might be counterintuitive to some people, but yeah, really. And honestly, you might consider cutting it based on the meta if Superheavy Samurai is a thing, but also if, depending on how popular Snake Eye and the fire decks are, because obviously, you know, Bystials aren't too great against fire decks, you know. But if branded and Mathmech and Lablip are continuing to be popular, which they have been in my climb, then you'll still find utility out of the Bystials. For the actual list itself, I know this looks like a... Honestly, this looks like a giant pile of cards, and you could honestly probably cut this down to way closer to 40 than I have. I just... like, you either cut defensive cards like Handtraps, or you would cut down on Seyferts, which I'll get to why running multiple Seyferts is actually still good, or you might cut down on Bystials, again, if Bystials aren't actually good. Yeah, this top row here, which you see is all these Handtraps, this is basically to, like, not lose to Superheavy Samurai. You obviously Maxi and Droll are just like kind of stable this format, although Droll, you know, depending on how much lab you face, might not feel as good as it could be. And then you throw in Ogre, because Ogre and Gamma are basically the next best Handtraps you can use against Superheavy Samurai. Because if you get to stuff like Ash and like stuff like Imperm or Valor, that stuff will never stop a Superheavy Samurai deck by itself. If you have just one of those, it's basically like you're hand looping yourself. It's really bad, and you have to open multiple of those types of Handtraps, you know, like Ash, Imperm, Valor, Nibiru, to stop Superheavy. And this deck is already at 48 cards, and if you were to put enough Handtraps in your deck to be able to consistently open 2 of them, you would be going through like a 60 card deck, and then, you know, there aren't that many good Dragon starters anymore. So the fact that if you're bringing their deck count up, you're reducing your consistency way too far. Like this 48 already, honestly, not gonna lie, it feels a bit rough, and I wanted to cut it down, but I also don't want to feel naked when I go second against Superheavy. At least Ogre, you know, if you have to high roll and you have to hit the Wakashi and pray they don't have Gamma, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Or if you Ghost Ogre the Scarecrow effect to revive, or the Gamma effect to revive, that's a very impactful hit, because then you basically get rid of the 2 extenders, 2 bodies on the field for 1 Handtrap, which is, and you don't like, you do that before they have a chance to put up a Baron, so that's really good there. And obviously the fact that we're running the Black Metal Dragon, and Black Metal Dragon, we need to run the Black Meteor Dragon now as a extra extender, because this deck lost gas without the babies anymore. So yeah, I think Gamma is pretty much necessary in every dragon build now. Okay, so note on the Seyferts. This deck doesn't really have 1 card starters anymore outside of Black Metal Dragon. And basically, if you don't open Black Metal Dragon, everything you have requires 2 cards. It's going to be a 2-card combo, basically, including a normal summon such as, you know, maybe a Rocket or a Seyfert plus an extender, which I'm running Bystials because Bystials are still, even if they're completely dead as Handtraps, which they shouldn't be as long as branded Mathmech and Lab are in the format. Even if they don't have utility as Handtraps, these are still probably the best extenders because they're level 6, so they're you can use them for Attuned, and Attuned is basically the Chaos Ruler replacement. This is your biggest extension tool from the extra deck now that Chaos Ruler is banned. And they also synergize with the Spader because level 4 tuner plus level 6 non-tuners. So I figured I cut all the stuff like the World Legacy Guard Dragon or like Dragon Maid stuff. I just wanted to run the best extenders the deck has. And Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon is also, you can make this a level 6 non-tuner by summoning it with Romulus' secret effect. And that comes up a lot. I honestly summon this more with Romulus than I do with its own effect. So yeah, back to the 2-card combos. If you're opening a 2-card combo, then Seyfert is probably the next best normal summon you have, because Seyfert plus any Bystial, even a bad Bystial like the Baldrake, will get you, is your best 2-card combo since it gets you access to your Bystial engine right away. Since you can go Seyfert, pitch a Baldrake, add Saronir, and then later on when you link the Saronir off, the Saronir will put back the Lobelia, and then with the Seyfert in the grave, you can banish the Seyfert to add back the Lobelia, and then you get your Lobelia on search for your Magnamut that way, and then you can get Regain and Magnamut at the end phase. That's the best 2-card combo you have if you don't open Black Metal Dragon. So I figured, you might as well like run as many copies of the next best starter you have. And it's not even bad if you open Black Metal and Seyfert at the same time. Even though they're both normal summons, you play around that by just discarding the Seyfert off of Ravine, and then reviving the Seyfert with the Pisty later on in the turn, and then you can use the Seyfert for its effect. So it's still fine, and that's way it's like a free discard off Ravine. That you're gonna summon it off Pisty anyways, and that goes for any Dragon Monster, not just Seyfert. If you hard open Black or Red Eye Darkness Metal, for example, you can also pitch Red Eye Darkness Metal for the Ravine, and then revive it later with Pisty, so that you don't have to banish one of your own Dragon Monsters to summon this. You can just summon it back for free. And yeah, because we don't have the babies anymore, you gotta make use of as many good discards for Ravine as possible. You don't always have the free extra baby, the extra black or white to discard, so you want to be as economical as you can. I suppose you can cut down the deck closer to 40 cards if you want to, although that's gonna definitely involve cutting the Ghost Lookers, which is, again, this is to help with the Super Heavy Samurai matchup when you go second. It's borderline impossible to play through that matchup if you don't draw your impactful non-engine, and unfortunately your Bystials don't count as impactful non-engine versus Super Heavy, so you're just exposing yourself more to that matchup if you lose the coin flip, and you're probably gonna end up cutting copies of like Seyfert and your copies of Bystials. So while the smaller deck size count does let you draw your outs to maxi and roll more often, and it lets you see your best starter, Black Metal Dragon, you also have straight up less starters and less extenders in your deck. So if you don't open Black Metal Dragon, then you're also less likely to open strong of a hand, since you don't have as many combo pieces. So it's like a give or take. This is like broader consistency, but less you see your strongest power cards less, but also you're also running more non-engine to cover more matchups. So it's like a give or take based on what you want to do with your deck building. If you want to focus more on like consistently being able to go first, and like just hedging your bets against Super Heavy, and like just accepting that that's a 50-50 matchup, and whoever wins the coin flip is gonna be heavily favored in that matchup anyways. So that is an alternative deck building philosophy you can take with this deck, and then this would be like closer to like a 42-43 card deck. I would not, again, I don't recommend cutting Branded Beast. This deck kind of needs Branded Beast as a going second tool now, especially without the babies. It has less extension going second. This is really helpful, and it also it's nice to, when your opponent Bakuska passes you, it's nice to Druid's Worm, send the Bakuska, the Belian plays the Beast, pop their Wakaushi, and then go to town that way. For the extra deck, I think everything in the extra deck except Baron, Dark, and Delindris is absolutely stapled. in these 3 slots, there's like 4 cards I want to fit in these 3 slots, which is these 3 right here plus the access code. So I think Dark is a really good, and it's like, it's not only just a nice combo piece against Dark decks, where if your opponent is playing a Dark deck and you go into Dark and you revive their Dark, that basically gives you full combo by itself if you have any tracer, if you have any access to Tracer, and it's also consistency. Like you can crash this and add black metal, which is a very relevant play that happens a lot. And then, you know, Baron is for not something you really make going first, but it does help going second, since we are running the max counts of Bystials right now because I want to facilitate attune plays. It also facilitates more Baron plays since we have all these level 6 non-tuner bodies. And the Lindris, so I put this in because the theory was this deck doesn't have as many extenders again without the baby, so if you, in the case where you just open one of your word starters, like say any of your rockets plus just any bad Bystial, which is like basically Baldrake or Druid's Worm, then with just 2 bodies you can utilize the Lindris to go into Oral End plus Savage instead of just Steel's passing. Now, the way the game's played out, this didn't come up very often. It came up maybe a couple times, and I don't even think I needed to go into it either times for those games, because again, it only works if you have absolute minimum bodies, like you're basically your worst starting hand, that's still a combo, which is, you know, your worst normal summon and your worst extender. And then you have to also not get hand trapped, because if you do get hand trapped, you're gonna Steel's Pass anyways, and this Lindris doesn't really do anything for you. And if you have more extension, then you oftentimes don't need to go through this in the first place. So probably you could cut the Lindris for access code. Now, I didn't have many opportunities to go access code OTK either, but it definitely, like, this is the 15 extra deck slot, so it is probably the one you're going to go into the least often. But it is nice to, you know, instead of having to just go Borderland and then Savage and it's against certain boards, that's not enough for the game. Actually, if you just go into the access code line instead, it actually is most likely the game, especially if you start with Black Metal. I think Black Metal by itself is just an OTK through with an access code. So yeah, anyways, we can get into the games. So this is going to be the full YouTube combo hand, featuring not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. That's exactly what you want to see in your opening hand, 3 of the same card. But we did open Black Metal plus a Bystial, and Black Metal plus a Bystial is basically full combo. And I'll show you in a sec as soon as we go through the motions of adding Black Metal, or adding Red Eyes Darkness Metal, reviving Black Metal, going to Romulus. Then Romulus add Ravine, and then Black Metal add Black Meteor, and then Ravine dump one of our 3 copies of Black Metal to search Tracer. And here, because I opened the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, I'm just gonna special it right away since we already have 3 darks thanks to the Black Metal Dragon. After you placed Root Sector for some reason, but yeah, we're gonna special this hand loop for 1 just to get the hand loop out the way, and then use Root Sector to special the Rocket Tracer, go into Pisty, and then that's going to trigger Romulus effect. Romulus is going to special summon Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon from the hand, so that you don't special summon with its effect. Because if you special summon Black Meteor with its effect, it turns to a level 7. We don't want that. We want it to stay as a level 6, so we're using Romulus' effect. And we can't link with this, but we're not going to link with this. We're going to special the Baldrake after, and then go into Attune. And here, Attune is going to special Seyfert. And since we opened Levnir directly, we can just Seyfert send Levnir to grave to add Lubellion. And then Lubellion will get us Magnamut. And then we're going to link off into Triple Burst, Triple Pisty, Revive Tracer. And now, importantly, you're going to link these 2 off into Seals first, so that before you Dark Lock yourself. And then you can Dark Lock yourself with Tracer, popping the Boot Sector, getting the Rocket Recharger. Then we're going to banish the Hydratic King, because we don't need it anymore. Get the Magnamut. Go into Striker Dragon number 2. Striker Dragon is going to pop itself, target the rocket recharger, and then recharger is gonna send it to target the triple burst. So now we get the 3 link materials back. We're gonna synchro these 2 off into Dissipator and bring back one of our striker dragons. You know, it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna send it with Lubellion just so we get the Dissipator in the grave, so that we can revive it with the regain that we're placing with Lubellion, and then go into Borland. Borland will bring back the Tracer. With the Seyfert already on board, we can go into Savage Dragon, and then we equip the triple burst, and end phase we're gonna add Bruise Worm. So that combo, you end on a Hand Loop for 1, Spheres, Borland, Savage, and then as soon as they summon something, Dissipator's coming back. So yeah, you better be playing the Alba Lenatussi and Albaz or Go Next, right? And they're gonna do just that. Specials, Terror Top, and we're gonna get a Dissipator, and we're gonna go into Gossip Shadow to eat one of our 5 interruptions. And they're gonna go into Xiamen, which we're just gonna let go because frankly, we're not doing anything scary yet. And when I go into Rising Carp, that's a prime Seals target, so we're gonna bounce that. And we can just negate the Gossip Shadow with Boral, and no big deal. They got 3 cards left in hand, and they already committed the Xiamen effect. And they're gonna use Foxy Tune, Pitch to get Leader Note, and then their Gold Pride Leon is just gonna get eaten by our Dissipator, and they really have nothing left at this point. If they want to go into like a Vertate or something, we have Baldrake for that too. I mean, yeah, it's just a standard Dragon Link board that's no different from what it was months ago. And now we see the opposite end of the spectrum. This hand with 0 dragons, 2 Ash, and both field spells, by the way. Around 48 cards, I opened both bricks that I searched with my Link monsters. Thank you, Master Duel. So I'm gonna activate Dragon Ring, I'm gonna send Ash, and I'm gonna add Tracer hand. At this point, I'm just fishing for Handtraps, because everyone should know that if a Dragon Link player starts with Dragon Ravine to pitch to add Tracer, then their hand is like actually does nothing, or they either have a Bystial or their hand does absolutely nothing. And I'm gonna normal Tracer and go into Striker Dragon, and I'm just fishing for Handtraps at this point. And our opponent obliges by dumping a Maxi when I wasn't gonna special summon anyways, and then they're gonna bell my Striker Dragon, add back up Tracer. And thank you. My hand could not even make a Seals, and our opponent just dumped 2 Handtraps from her hand and handled himself for 2 on a Striker Dragon that wasn't gonna accomplish anything. So I already got more than my money's worth from this dead ass hand. So thank you very much. And our opponent is gonna activate Wakaushi, and I'm gonna ogre this crap because, frankly, if they had Gamma, they would have probably. I feel like they would have used Gamma already, or maybe you were better than me and you were more patient than me, but better have it, and they did. So they're gonna summon Metal Cruncher and add to try to add the bike, and I'm gonna Ash the hell out of this bike because they spent the normal summon Metal Cruncher already. So this should end their turn, so they already expended Wakaushi plus their normal summon. And they don't even have the bike search. And yeah. Now, I still do lose this unless I draw a single playable card. And I draw a Saronir. You know what? That's good enough. I'm going to activate Boot Sector Launch now to bring back the Tracer. And then I'm going to Tracer Pop to add recharge, this special recharger. And this is the dumbest play I've ever done with this deck. So we're gonna link off into Striker Dragon number 2, right, with the Recharger. And I'm gonna use Striker Dragon, target a Recharger. And then Recharger, add back, I'm gonna send it, and then target the Absol Rally Dragon. And now I'm gonna link these 2 off into Dark. So now I get this second surge off Absol Rally Dragon. I don't remember the last time I've gotten 2 surges off of Absol Rally in the same game. But I need that extra body. So we're gonna go into Caliber, and then Saronir are gonna banish with Ghost Ogre, and we're gonna go into Pisty, into Triple Burst, into bring back into dump Lubellion, bring back Saronir, and then sack it for Lubellion. Then Lubellion is gonna place Regained, because might as well, even though it doesn't really do much because all I have is Saronir engraved, it's better than nothing. And then we're gonna go into Borland, and then Borland, you know, negate the Metal Puncher, bring back the Rocket Tracer. I don't even know if that was correct, because I think I lost out on damage. Well, no, I didn't lose out on damage by this, but I forgot Metal Puncher gains attack if you negate it, so it wasn't as much damage as I thought it was. But our opponents on Super Heavy Samurai on 3 cards, and I think they do have a struggle to out Borland Dragon normally, anyways. And they're gonna show that they didn't open the Soul Piercer, so they're gonna go into Scarecrow, and then Scarecrow is gonna pitch. Classic. I feel you, man. And yeah, their last card in hand is Soul Horns, but this doesn't really do anything besides make the Chariot Beast. I respect this 75% win rate. That's gonna go down thanks to this match, and Pitch are gonna negate the Chariot Beast. This is yeah. This is great Yu-Gi-Oh! Just there's two decks kind of bricking. Okay, well my opponent didn't brick. It was me bricking on Handtraps and our opponent losing to Handtraps. The classic Master Duel experience. Right, so this game we're going second, and our opponents actually summons Dotskeeper and they're on a Cyrus pile. So I'm really peeved by this because at first I thought my opponent was on Mathmech, and I cannot open Bystials against Mathmech to save my life. I don't understand. I'm running like the maximum amount of legal copies basically. I'm running 6 Bystials and then another 3 Lubellion I can use on my turn to hit the Super Factorial. And I just never open any single one of those 9 cards when I'm playing against Mathmech. And I'm thinking, fortunately, our opponents didn't open Circular, you know, thank God. So all they're doing is doing Heat Soul, Transfer Pass, and for playing Follow Up. Now, the annoying thing is, that means they have 5 Handtraps in hand. So, you know, it's still going to be a bit of a slog playing through this. I'm going to normal Black Metal, and then go into Striker, and Chainlink 1, Chain Block the Black Metal Dragon. And they're gonna Ash the Striker Dragon because they always love negating the Striker Dragon. You know, I don't get it, but you know, fair. Now they're gonna draw off the Heat Soul after I summoned. I don't know why they waited so long on the fucking Heat Soul, but you know what, whatever. And now they're gonna Maxi me, and I'm gonna Ash, and they're gonna draw me on the Resolution. So that was a smart play by them. You know, check if the Maxi resolves, and if it doesn't resolve, draw me, and that's kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. So here I'm gonna summon Darkness Metal, and then that's gonna get Veiler too. So yeah, you know, I figured for 4 Handtraps, casual 4 Handtraps, I had to play through there. So yeah, we weren't really getting too far with this, and thankfully it has the same attack as a Co-Link Transcotogger, so we can at least, you know, kill that, so we're not at like a super risk of dying because we still have a draw, and they're gonna draw phase. Now they're gonna draw phase Heat Soul to play around like the draw. Thank you, and they're gonna apparently not draw anything and just enter battle phase in set 2. So here they're gonna Heat Soul again, and this is a wild play. I'm gonna Seyfert, send both Seyferts from my because at this point I still think I'm versus Mathmech. So I'm gonna add Lubellion, and then I'm gonna Lubellion to add the Magnumwood, because Magnumwood's strong enough to attack over both Magnumwood and Lubellion are strong enough to attack over Heat Soul anyways, and I get the draw off the regain, and I get the Heat Soul, or I get the Heat Soul. I wish I get the Bystial Magnumwood Surge in the end phase. Wow, what a fantastic draw! What a fantastic draw! So now we're gonna Lubellion, and they're gonna some reason they're gonna negate the Lubellion instead of the Magnumwood. So, and at this point I still thought they were on Mathmech, so I'm like, why did you let me search a Bystial instead of letting me place Beast? But whatever, I'm gonna set Cross Out Designator, add Baldrake, because I don't really have a way to pop my Druid's Worm, so it's better to add Baldrake. And you're gonna Mathmech Addition the Lubellion. I'm gonna bring back the Magnumwood, get the search. This should probably be in defense. This is by putting the Magnumwood in attack, you open yourself up to getting OTK'd by Terahertz multiplication. Anything with less than 3k, with 3k attack or less, you risk dying off 2 Cyber monsters. So yeah, I should have put this in defense, but you know, turns out they're not playing Mathmech at all. They're playing Kotalkers. So I was worried about nothing, and they're gonna equation back the subtraction, at which point I'm just gonna summon Baldrake, and then, you know, get the draw, but now they can't do anything because they have to link, and as soon as they go into Eagle and Crystal Heart to try to revive the transcode, they realize that I can just banish that with Baldrake, so... You know, Bystial control works against non-light and dark decks sometimes too. Right, so here we have a very mediocre hand. This hand has 2 normal summons and no extenders. So this is going to be a Seyfert make Striker Dragon, add boot special tracer, make Seals pass on Seals regain, if we get that far. So I'm going to normal Seyfert, go into the Striker Dragon, and they're going to chain Maxi the Striker Dragon. That's a very interesting spot to Maxi. And at this point, I don't even ash it. I'm not even sure if this is correct. Maybe it's correct to ash it, then boot sector, special tracer, and then still make a Seals. Maybe Seals is better than the ash instead. In fact, it definitely, most likely, always is. And this is probably honestly the wrong play, but my opponent's playing Branded, so by keeping the ash in hand instead of ashing the Maxi, we get rewarded. So you know what? We take those. And we're gonna Droll because Droll does nothing in this matchup if they just add Branded Fusion off the bat, which they did. But thankfully we have the ash, so they, you know, 2 cards in hand, and they're playing Regain in their build, but they don't have a way to take advantage of Regain, so yeah, attack over the Striker Dragon. And here we draw into Black Widow, just literally the best card in the deck. It's fantastic. So here we're gonna add the Red Eyes, and then gonna special the Red Eyes, and it's unfortunate that the way this works is their Regain is chain link too, because they're the non-turn player, so that they get to put back the Striker Dragon to get the draw, and I don't get the draw. But I wanted the Striker Dragon back in my extra deck anyway, so yeah, I had to do that. So it's a bit unfortunate right there. And we're going to Romulus, and then Black Metal. We chain block Romulus, and they're gonna get Ash, which is fine. You notice we chain block the Romulus because we can. Black Metal Dragon is not once per turn, so you can see where I'm going with this. Activate boot sector, special tracer, and then tracer pop, get a recharger. Here I'm gonna go Pisty, and here I'm gonna make the Dill line. So this is one situation where the Dill kind of came in handy, although it's still debatable whether I need to do it. But yeah, we go then to the second Striker Dragon that we put back, Pisty, bring back Black Metal, link off into Dill, and then Black Metal adds a Meteor Dragon, and I'm gonna just use Ravine to pitch the Meteor Dragon to send the Bellion, and then Seyfert to add the Bellion to hand, so we can get Magnamut Surge, then, you know, special the Magnamut, banish the Black Metal, and then Striker Dragon pop the Lindris, add Recharger back to hand, and then Recharger bring back the Tracer, and that's gonna trigger Dill to come back, and then we make Boral End Dragon, and then Boral End negate the Kit, bring back the Recharger, make Savage, and then Savage, Boral End, and then Magnamut is game. If we didn't make the save there, we would have been down 1 body, so that would have actually not been game. Although, to be fair, our opponent's on 3 cards versus Borderland, Savage, plus Druisworm Search, and they're on Branded, so really, it didn't really matter that we had the deal to make it the game later, because they weren't winning that game anyways. So, again, so I'm not sold on Dill. I feel like that's an extremely cuttable card. So while the Saronir hit isn't exactly nothing, it also isn't really gonna change Dragon Link's placement in the meta. Like, if it's gonna remain like a tier 2-ish, mid-tier 2-ish deck, the same as it was before the Saronir limit. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely playable if you're a Dragon Link enthusiast. Yeah, go for it. There's plenty of ways to build this deck. This is probably one of the more bog standard ways, minus the fact that I'm running Max Bystials and Seyfert, but yeah, this is This is a fine deck, and it certainly doesn't care about the ban list as much as another deck I did, unfortunately.